Pain doesn't exist in this dojo, does it? Mercy doesn't exist in this dojo, does it? Fear doesn't exist in this dojo, does it? Hey guys, Hal here coming at you with the Cobra Kai season review. We're going to be doing the first season today, and because all of the seasons have finally wrapped up, I thought I would go through each season once again and give you my thoughts and feelings now that it's all over with. So let's start with the first one. So it was first announced that Cobra Kai would be playing on YouTube Red, and it eventually then moved over to Netflix. When it was first announced, because I'm a massive fan of the original Karate Kid trilogy, I was very apprehensive about hearing they were going to be doing a show on this. So when it came out, I went into it, fingers crossed really that they were going to do a good job with it. And it's safe to say that I wasn't disappointed. So the show takes place decades after their 1984 All Valley Karate Tournament bout. A middle-aged Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence find themselves martial arts rivals again. It's absolutely fantastic to have William Zabka back as Johnny Lawrence and Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso. Their chemistry remains like it did back in the 1984 film, and they're once again at each other's throats. But what I like is that their characters are looked after in the show. They've not been put out to blast at all. They are still exactly how we remember them. And it's good that they were looked after so well through this first season. Because that's what I was worried about, is that when you've got a big property like Karate Kid, it's very easy to take a wrong turn with some of the characters and ruin what we remember so fondly about them in the previous films. But actually, it's all looked after really well, and they are, if anything, there's added more to their characters, and it makes you feel for them both in different ways, especially Johnny Lawrence. I mean, this first season really is about Johnny Lawrence, because it's 30 years or so after that last time that we saw him being choked out by John Kreese. You wonder what happened to him after all of those years. And we see him down in the dumps. He's a big drinker, doing, odd jobs, not really seeing where his life is headed, and still very much regretful of him losing against Daniel LaRusso back in 84. And that's a long time to be, pondering on something that happened so long ago. And we're seeing, the aftermath of that with Johnny Lawrence. So it's great to see that this story is actually telling it from his point of view. And you get to experience what it is that he felt through that tournament, and to see where his story takes us through this season. And they do such a good job with it. It's great to see that he actually finds his passion for karate once again. He opens up his dojo and brings back Cobra Kai. The catalyst for him bringing back Cobra Kai is the character of Miguel Diaz, which he's the person that makes him love karate. He brings him back into the fold, and brings out his softer side, and makes him see things that he probably should have seen years prior, and that you're not to live in the past, you're supposed to look forward. And Miguel brings that out of him. And Miguel's an excellent character in this. He's so naive and young, and he's being bullied by the kids at school, very much like Daniel LaRusso in Karate Kid. So it's great to see him start getting trained then by Johnny. And you've got the whole classic no mercy, strike hard, strike first, all of that stuff. So it's brilliant to see that actually he's being trained not in Miyagi-Do karate like Daniel LaRusso, but more so in Cobra Kai. And you get to see that fiery side of Johnny. And once he's finally been training Miguel for a few weeks, he realizes he needs more students to pay his doubled rent. And they finally start getting some students in after a video has gone viral of Miguel kicking the bully's ass at school. So he gets more students, and that's where all the wit and the funny comments really start rolling. I mean, the way he belittles some of the students that he's got is just absolutely comedy gold. I mean, what I love about this season the most is that they just have the right balance of nostalgia and new storytelling, the right balance of the old characters and with a mix with the new ones. Yes, there's quite a lot of teen drama throughout this, but it's all, with the purpose of telling new stories. You're introduced to some really good new characters. There's Robbie Keane, which is the son of Johnny Lawrence. You've got Hawk, who is the very timid, bullied lad with the scar on his face, that then you see him turn into this totally new character called Hawk after he gets confidence through Cobra Kai, and he gets the tattoo on the back and his mohawk. And by the end of the season, he's actually he's probably the most villainous out of all the Cobra Kai students. But you just absolutely love him for it, because it's just an absolute U-turn. He gets all the confidence. So you've got that story that's running all the way through it. Again, it's told as well with humour. It's not just deadly serious. There's a lot of funny moments throughout. You've got Samantha, which is Daniel LaRusso's daughter. You know that there's a history there with her and karate, and being taught by her dad. And you've got her and then the relationship with Miguel. But obviously, because Daniel LaRusso hates Cobra Kai, he cannot shift his previous thoughts of what Cobra Kai was, that he's just not going to like anything to do with it. So Samantha's then very reluctant to bring Miguel home to her and meet. So you've got all that drama as well. And so there's a lot to keep you interested in this first season. And although Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence are still butting heads throughout this, there's definitely moments where you can see like they start to slowly understand each other a little bit more. And there's some, again, very funny moments. There's a part in the car where they're both enjoying a particular song. And it's quite heartwarming just to see these old rivals kind of form this bond, and they go to the pub and have a few drinks. Eventually it all unravels and they're back at each other again, but it's really good just to see these characters that we've known for so long hating each other kind of find this mutual ground in places. I mean, this show as well could have just been total nostalgia bait and just constant clips and music of what we remember from the previous Karate Kid films. And although we do get the actual clips of the films, I think it's for people that may have never seen them, so that they actually know what part of the story that they're referring to when they're discussing it in Cobra Kai. It's never overused. The music is used in the correct places. It's not taken advantage of and literally just rehashed the Karate Kid films into a Cobra Kai season. They're little hints of it throughout, which they give me goosebumps when they do use it. And it's always very welcoming when they put it on the screen, and not just totally overused. And, you don't want to roll your eyes at any of the moments where they do use it. I mean, there's parts where Daniel LaRusso is actually teaching Robbie Keane all the kata that he knows, and they're out in the woods and the music's playing over the top. And it's just very reminiscent of what Mr. Miyagi was doing with Daniel LaRusso. So, but again, they don't overuse it. It's just little bits, and it stands out. It's very good and memorable. And I enjoyed it very much. And this then all builds to the classic All Valley Karate Tournament, like it does in the very first Karate Kid. And when it finally gets there, I was not disappointed at all. They kind of managed to recreate that feeling like they did in the first film. You've got all the Cobra Kai boys there, and all the other karate affiliations. And to see them all battle it out is brilliant. The fight choreography is great as well. But the standout in this final tournament and the best performance for me is Miguel Diaz. He is brilliant at the end of this. There's something so Cobra Kai about him. He's got this vicious edge to him. And it's great because the story arc of Johnny is he's been teaching him everything that he's been taught over the years by John Kreese, and he's then put that into his students. But then he's starting to see, what he's actually taught them in this final tournament, because it's ruthless and relentless. And even you can start seeing that there's a bit of mercy on Johnny's face when he sees that Miguel is showing no mercy. That, the final battle is Miguel against Robbie, which is Johnny's son. And Robbie's got a bad shoulder, and he's saying, look, you've got to, Miguel, going into this fight, you've got to win the right way. And Miguel's like, no, just win at all costs. No mercy, sensei. And it's brilliant. It's great to see that in the first Karate Kid, you've got John Kreese saying to Johnny, no mercy, but now it's the other way round, and it kind of totally flips it on its head that now Johnny's saying to Miguel, like, we've got to win right. He kind of sees slightly the errors in his ways. And that final episode for me was, the penultimate episode. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed that tournament. And like Hawk as well, he's that real timid guy, and he turns into the real bad guy at the end of it. He's the one that just doesn't give a shit at all. So yeah, I absolutely loved the season. I really did think they nailed it. And if they didn't nail that very first season, then we wouldn't have gone on to have 5 more then afterwards. So I'm really happy that they smashed it out of the park, really. So that's been my review on season 1 of Cobra Kai. I'm going to watch season 2 and 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to continue it. I only ever watched them all the once every time they were released, and I've never revisited them. So this is going to be my revisit of all of them, and I'll do a review after every one. So I really do hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you for clicking and watching this video. So if you'd like to support my channel, then please subscribe, like, comment, hit the notification bell, because when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious